What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Tonight, we're back with another Wednesday underdog stream with you folks. You know, we're going to talk, we're going to draft with you guys. We're going to do everything that we possibly can. We'll talk some news, some notes, everything that's been going on in NFL training camp. Now, as you guys are aware, we are going to be drafting with subscribers. So as you can see, we have the draft board loaded up right now. We will be picking from the 7th spot in this draft today. And if you have never drafted with us before, you want to draft with us in the next one, just so you know, we drop these links in the Discord right before the stream starts. So if you are not a member of the Discord, I do have a free Discord. It's linked in the description. You can go sign up over there. And like I said, free to join, no risk in doing it. You'll be able to get in and draft with us in future drafts. We do it every Wednesday and every Saturday right now, probably all the way up until week 1 of the NFL season. So I see we got a couple people in here. G Money, he says, hey, go, I'm the 111. Glad to have you here at the 111. Dr. Hawk says he is at the 101, and he says that sucks. Of course, right when CMC gets hurt. So that is probably the first thing we can talk about today is the Christian McCaffrey news, I guess, for the most part, because CMC, he is now injured, I guess. A calf injury is what we've heard from him. I don't know what this is going to mean for week 1. The reality is we probably don't need to overreact too much. I mean, obviously, as you see, Dr. Hawk, he still takes CMC number 1, but it is something worth monitoring because over the last couple of years, the 101 has been kind of cursed, and we've had this curse here of a couple years back, CMC was the... I just put it in my group chat the other day, actually. CMC was the pick at the 101. He got hurt. Justin Jefferson, the 101. JT was the 101. Like, all of these guys got hurt. They missed time. I don't know. Is CMC in 2024 as the 101? Is this calf injury telling of what could be for 2024 Christian McCaffrey's outlook? Not really sure. Obviously, we're not hoping that for fantasy football. It's not going to be as good in fantasy if CMC is not healthy and playing, but definitely something for us to monitor. Now, you see, we are on the clock here at the 107, and I'm just going to stick with my plan here. I actually just was working on a video today that you guys are going to see here on Friday. It'll come out on Friday. It is the best strategy for picking in the middle rounds of drafts. So we'll actually try and do this a little bit today. It is catered towards home leagues, CBS, Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper, NFL, those types of platforms. So not necessarily a underdog best ball type of strategy, but we'll still try it out here. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to make sure your guys' home leagues, you had everything you needed. Now, let's pull up the big draft board. We'll go back. We'll look at some of the comments. I see we got Dylan in here. Dylan, how are you doing this evening? Glad you're in here. And Johan says Cody Schrader season. Could be. I liked Cody Schrader a lot. He's got a couple hurdles to get past. Isaac Grendo, who had better draft capital, Elijah Mitchell, and then obviously CMC has to miss time. So we'll see what happens with that. Dynasty question from Dylan. He says, how does quarterback value change for a 10-man superflex versus a 12-man superflex? About to draft my first 10-man league, and I'm not sure how to evaluate the position. Great question. What I would say that is going to do for that quarterback position for the most part is it's going to elevate the top-tier guys. So guys like, why am I spacing? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those guys are still going to be really, really elite. But when you get down to that later tier, the Baker Mayfields, Bryce Young, when you get to that later tier of QBs, they don't matter as much. So I would say if you're going to attack Superflex quarterback in a 10-man, you want to get the elite guys. You can go get them earlier. But as you get to the late, sometimes people like to wait on the depth at the QB position. There's enough depth that every team in a 10-man could have 3 quarterbacks, and they're all starters. So you can just kind of wait on that quarterback in a 10-man a little bit, but still try and go get those elite guys. Hopefully that answers the question. Now, we are back on the clock here, and we are going to be able to make a selection that we want, and I'm going to go with Nico Collins for the Houston Texans. In the second round, you have a bunch of wide receivers that all feel like they're similar tiers. I like to target the offenses. I think the Houston Texans, they're going to have one of the better offenses in football. He was a guy you could have targeted. Jalen Waddle, you could get Brandon Ayuk, but we don't know if Brandon Ayuk is going to be a San Francisco 49er. Things like that. I like to target the offense in the second round, but that starts us with Jefferson and Nico. Now, What do we have here? G Money says Vikes hat is lit. Look, man, we did our NFC North fantasy football breakdown for Dynasty just the other day. It comes out tomorrow. I had to get this for that specifically. I had to show the Vikings some love in that NFC North preview. So hopefully you guys will like it. Hopefully you guys will see it. And we'll go from there. Benjamin says, is this a best ball mania? This is not a best ball mania. This is a private draft with subscribers from our Discord. So in the future, if you want to draft, you can go get one of the guys in our Discord, or you can go join the Discord and be one of the guys in the Discord that gets the link. So it's a private draft. And he says he has to get past Jordan Mason. That is for sure something that he has to get by. Now, next question here from Johan. He says, thanks for your help the other day on the Zay, Swift for DJ Moore and Jones trade. A couple days later, I ended up trading Zay a third and fourth for Ayuk. Was that better? I like Brandon Ayuk a lot better than I like Zay Flowers. So yes, that feels better to me. I like that. Zay and Swift for DJ Moore and Jones. Yeah, I mean, I like it, man. Good move there. Let's see, what else do we got here, guys? G Money says my goat Nico. He's a Texans fan. But what else do we have from injury-wise type of stuff we can talk about? A couple things that hit my newsfeed today we can talk about. Just injuries before we get to the buzz and the hype, because I want to bring that to your head top just so you guys know what's going on. Josh Downs, he suffered an ankle injury during practice today. They're saying he may miss about 6 weeks. It's a high ankle sprain, so it could be some time before Josh Downs is back on the field. Now, a lot of people like Josh Downs. He's going to play the slot there in Indianapolis, but what could this mean for an early season Anthony Richardson? What could it mean for an early season Adonai Mitchell? As you guys know, I'm a big Adonai Mitchell fan. I think this is going to be very interesting to watch, but if you were going to be drafting, appreciate you, Caleb, if you were going to be drafting Josh Downs and hoping that he was going to break out early in the year, it's not going to happen because he's likely not going to be on the football field. Now, we have about a month until the season plays anyways, so maybe he's only going to miss 1 or 2 weeks, but you hate to see the injury early in the year before we even get going. But as you can see, Walker, he's in here. He says AD season. Adonai Mitchell it is. And we're about to get autoed. I was out there yapping along. We'll try and get DJ Moore. Can we get him? Yes. All right. I don't feel bad about that. DJ Moore just got the new contract extension. Not hey, we almost got autoed. It's all good. Maybe I need to set a queue. But yeah, so that is some news there with Josh Downs. Now, as far as other news, we did have a thing come out about Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, you guys know I'm big on Jaden Reed. He had a calf injury. It's being reportedly listed as not very serious. The team says they're just being careful with the starting wide receiver. I don't know. He had a calf injury. He did not practice on Wednesday. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. He's kind of fighting for snaps in a crowded wide receiver room. Now, I believe he is the most talented wide receiver in that room, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. You got to be on the football field if you want to have some playing time. Another thing, Rondale Moore, he was carted off the field with a leg injury. Now, that may not mean a ton to people unless you play in deep leagues or you're in a dynasty league, because he was likely going to play that slot wide receiver role there in Atlanta. Now, if you're looking in dynasty, you want to find a waiver wire pickup, Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod was added not too long ago. He will probably slot in as the wide receiver 3 there to complement Drake London and Darnell Mooney. So if you're in a dynasty league looking for a waiver wire pickup, you're bored, you want somebody in there just to make a transaction in a dynasty league, Ray McLeod. That's the guy that you'll be looking at. Now, Dan has a good question, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Brandon Ayuk today, because Brandon Ayuk, the rumors, how do the Ayuk and Steeler rumors affect the rankings? Honestly, I'm not too sure yet. I think right now, until something happens, I'm not moving him in my rankings, obviously. In San Francisco, you love the high pace of play. Obviously, he hasn't gotten a ton of, target share over the last couple of years. It's going to be interesting because if he goes to Pittsburgh, he probably has the largest target share he's ever had in his entire career. But the pace of play is going to be a little bit slower. You have the Arthur Smith offense, some things like that to worry about as well. He'll probably move down, but the reality is, right now you have him in that Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle tier, Nico Collins tier. He probably goes closer to the DK Metcalf, Mike Evans tier if he's in that next tier. So not a far drop, but definitely he'll probably move down if he ends up in Pittsburgh. Now, you see we're back up on the clock. I don't mind taking a shot on one of these guys, but I'm going to wait one more round, and we will just grab one more wide receiver. I'm going to take T. Higgins, giving us Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, and T. Higgins. This feels like a very strong wide receiver room, and we'll look at some of the other positions maybe next round. That's the way we're going here. Now, Aiden says, thoughts on Mooney for Dynasty? Look, man, I like Mooney enough, I guess, as much as anybody can like Mooney. In this offense, he's probably going to have the best offense he's played in, the best quarterback play he's probably ever had, and probably the best opportunity he's ever had in his career. What does that mean for Mooney? If I could get a wide receiver 3 season out of him, top 36 numbers, I'd be very happy. Reality is he's probably going to be a flex guy. It's going to be hard to know when to play him. If you can get him cheap and he's your guy and you believe in him, I'm fine with you going to grab him, but he's not a guy that I'm like overly excited about. I truly believe in Drake London. I think Drake London's going to be a beast in that offense, but when you account for London, Pitts, now Mooney, I don't know, man. It's Bijan Robinson being involved in the offense a lot. Like, I like Mooney, not willing to spend a ton on him in Dynasty. So hopefully that answers your question. If you get a wide receiver 3 season, I'm happy about it. That's kind of my expectation for him. Now, Walker says, scared of Ayuk in a different offense, so big play dependent. Does Arthur Smith scheme him open? That's the thing, man. It's going to be tough to tell. Historically, he hasn't had great wide receiver production out of his offenses, so that does seem scary. But I can't imagine that Mike Tomlin allows an offense, especially a Pittsburgh Steelers team who doesn't pay wide receivers often, who doesn't usually go after the big name guys. I can't imagine that Mike Tomlin allows them to make that move that's out of character for him and then not utilize the guy. It doesn't feel like it would make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to have to scheme him, but it does make it scarier. Obviously, like I said, if he does go to Pittsburgh, he probably moves down my rankings a tiny bit. So let's look at this board here for our next pick. We do kind of have to start looking at some of these other positions. Maybe we're just going to load up on a bunch of wide receivers and go 0 RB today. Not really sure. We kind of let the board talk to us, and right now it's telling us that we're going wide receiver heavy. But if there's two guys that I like. One specifically, if he comes back, which he didn't, I wanted Dalton Kincaid. If he was going to be there, we were going to take him. He's not going to be there. So look, we are going to just go with another wide receiver, and Anthony Richardson off the board. I like Rashee Rice, man. I've been talking about Rashee Rice all offseason. I feel like every time I do one of these drafts, I just continue to draft Rashee Rice. He's going to be one of my highest exposure players by the time this is all said and done at the end of the year. It just makes sense. He's likely not going to be suspended this year. I can't imagine. They haven't made much progress on it. The season's right around the corner. Give me Rashee Rice, man, as my wide receiver 5, big playability, second year with Patrick Mahomes. It just seems right, man. I feel like this is going to be a player that a lot of people are going to look back on at the end of the year and say, why weren't we drafting him again? Why did we draft him so low? Why did we let him fall in drafts? I don't know. I don't know why you guys did it, because I've gobbled up all of the Rashee Rice exposure that I possibly could in the meantime. He's a player I definitely believe in a lot this year. Now, Dan says, if this does happen, Pickens would have to drop 1 to 2 rounds in ADP. Yeah, Pickens is scary right now because I think that Pickens naturally kind of profiles better as a wide receiver 2 anyways, at least for fantasy football in his offense. Now, you could argue that, he has the X type of wide receiver body and he can do it and whatever. I think he's a wide receiver 2, man. And he had a lot of opportunity. And the reason why I got in on George Pickens a little bit this offseason was because of the opportunity presented after Deontay Johnson is leaving town. Well, now that he's going to get Brandon Ayuk, or rumored to get Brandon Ayuk, if it does happen, you do have to move George Pickens back down. Now, how far do you move George Pickens down? I don't know. Let's look at this. Let's look at the wide receiver room right now, because George Pickens, he's going right here in this T. Higgins tier. Does he move down to the Terry McLaurin, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown tier? I mean, that's one round of ADP only right there, and it feels probably appropriate. I can't imagine that you would move him down much further. If you move him down even further, where are you going? Ridley, Reed, Worthy? Maybe that is where he needs to go. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes with him if this does happen for them. So we're going to be back up on the clock here. I want to grab wide receiver. I mean, I want to grab running back, but we're just not getting good values. You guys are taking all the running backs, so I think we're going to go one more wide receiver, baby. We'll take the wide receiver that I like in Green Bay, Jaden Reed. We'll take him. I know he's dealing with the calf issue. Look, 6 wide receivers to start this team off. It is definitely turning into a 0 running back build, and it's scary. It's going to be a scary lineup at the end when we're giving grades. We'll see what happens. With that being said, if you are drafting with us tonight, you're watching on stream, make sure that you go put your underdog name in the chat. I will favorite it and put it to the side, and then at the end of the stream, if you would like me to, by putting your name in there, I will look at your team, review it, and talk about it on the stream at the end of the stream. So if you want to do that, put your name in the chat. I'll favorite it and put it to the side. Now, like I said, we're going 0 running back now, it looks like. You guys are just not giving me the good value there, so that's fine. We'll make it work. I'll scroll back up here just so you guys can see one more round of that and go from there. I actually think the one round where I probably would have taken the running back would have been that DJ Moore round where we were 5 seconds away from an auto start or auto pick, but we went with DJ Moore anyways. Dr. Hawk says that is a wild start. Hey, man, you got to let the board speak to you. And this is what the board is doing for me today. I don't like the value on the running backs that we're getting there. It feels like I was going to reach on a guy no matter what. So I'll let you guys take all the running backs. And then when you guys need to go wide receiver, I'll just take them all back on the back half of it. We had a question here from Dylan, though. He says Penix in a 26 fourth or Jatavian Sanders a 26 first and a 26 third. Look, just give me Penix in the 4th. I think this time next year, Penix is probably still going to be worth a first-round pick. Next year's class isn't that great at the quarterback position. It'll be one more year closer to Penix starting. His value doesn't seem like it's going to go down. I'd rather just have Penix. Yeah, you get the 4th and for JT in the 3rd. Not too worried about it right now. I think assuming it's a super flex, you need the quarterback. You want Penix. Maybe you have like 4 or 5 quarterbacks in a 10-man super flex. That context would make me lean the other way, I guess. But for the way that I have it right now with little league context, Penix in the bubble, that's the way that I want. Penix in a 4th. Michael, he says, thoughts on picking from the turn. Yeah, it's interesting, man. So if you're picking in the front half, that CMC 101 turn, I'm a little bit more likely to have a better strategy in that half because you get a guy like CMC, then in 2nd round, 3rd round, you can grab some running backs, 4th round, a wide receiver, 5th round, I like grabbing one of the tight ends like Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid, and then you kind of just fill out the roster the rest away. I think when you get to that back half, that 12th spot, you're kind of making a pick of one of the first. Look, we're back on the clock. We need to make sure that we get our pick. Here we go. Let me get Kyler Murray, baby. Kyler Murray, baby. He's one of my guys here. Now, if you're at the 12th, like I said, you're likely dipping into that first part of that 2nd round type of talent. You get the Puka Nakuas, the Garrett Wilsons, the Jonathan Taylors. I like going 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and then you're hoping that on the back 3-4 turn, you're able to do it again with like a Travis Etienne, maybe an Isaiah Pacheco, and then one of those high upside offenses with like the Jalen Waddles in the 3rd, maybe a Nico Collins if he falls, maybe a Tank Dell in the 4th if that's your flavor, I guess. But that's what I'm really trying to do. I think at that 12th turn, running back, wide receiver to start off my draft. If I'm in that first turn, CMC, double wide receiver, come back with a running back and a tight end. So that's kind of my idea. I didn't realize I was just yapping my ass off right there. So I apologize for that. What do we have here? Bunch of people. Dr. Hawk says he wants a review at the end. A lot of people want a review at the end. I'm happy to do that. I'm glad we have all these people in here. G Money says P-Raj. Who's P-Raj? Please, let Kyler fall to me. I couldn't let it happen. I love Kyler Murray, man. Shaden in here. We'll give him the review as well at the end. Look, I'm excited, man. We got a lot of teams that we can review today. I'm excited. Now, here for our pick, we got to start looking somewhere else, brother. We got way too much wide receivers. So let's go to the running backs. I like DeAndre Swift, man. I like Swift this year. I don't know why a lot of people are down on him. Maybe because of the last couple of years of him being hurt and banged up and things. I think he's going to be really good in this offense. You talk about the Chicago Bears, how they've been talking about him this offseason. It sounds like they want to use him like a bell cow. Now, will his body hold up? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to hold up, but I do like some DeAndre Swift this year. I see we got Johnny in the chat. Johnny says, yo, what up, man? Appreciate you being here. Dan says, I feel like picking early this season is an advantage in best ball. It can be, man. The early turn, it feels good. I like the strategy from there. I actually have a video that came out on the channel specifically about underdog early picks, 1 through 4. That strategy that I used in there, which is kind of what I broke down here on stream, it feels like money, dude. It feels so good. Now, actually, you know what? Let me get a quick drink of water. It's not a drink of water. I'm acting like I'm being healthy. I'm sitting here drinking a soda. Let me get a drink. We'll be right back. I don't know why I felt the need to lie to you. I don't know why I felt the need to lie like I was drinking water. I'm sitting here drinking soda. The wife came home. She said she wanted to go to the Dollar Tree, buy an umbrella. It's been raining. Apparently, Dollar Tree has some cheap umbrellas. I had to get a soda. It is what it is, man. Guilty pleasure of mine. Now, we're going to be back up on the clock here in just a second. With that being said, we have to look at these running backs again because we've got to start just probably pounding the table at the running back. We're going to punt the tight end position because we have to. We have to punt one of these positions. We took so many wide receivers. Now we got to make up ground on the running back. We have an elite QB. We're going to just be drafting running back after running back after running back now for the next couple of rounds. Now, what other news do we have? I think for the injuries that we talked about today, that's pretty much everything that I've heard. Maybe we have some headline news, some things we could talk about. I think one thing that came out earlier that I thought was really weird that hit my phone, they were talking about Geno Smith and they were using the word elite in Geno Smith at the same sentence. I don't know, not really the word that I would use to describe Geno Smith. Solid, maybe the word that I would use, but they said something about Geno being elite in an elite offense or something like that. Yeah, brother, he ain't elite, sorry. Here we go. We're going to take Tajay Spears. Take him. He's going to keep adding to this running back room. I want to find that quote, man, because I promise you they used the word elite, and it sounded crazy. Let's see. I don't know. It was Ryan Grubb talking about him. Said he's shaping the team's offense around Geno Smith's skill set. What else do we have news-wise? We're getting some buzz about Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch has been apparently looking really good, and Jonathan Gannon's talking highly about him. I talked about Greg Dortch in detail for a couple videos back-to-back a couple weeks ago. Said I really liked him as a stash, a sneaky late-round type of pick. I like Greg Dortch, and apparently he's getting some buzz, man. We're also getting a lot of the hype about Justin Fields. He is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans, so might be trouble for Russell Wilson here. I realize you guys can't see the board. Apologize for that. I see we got Johan. He says, Seahawks fan here. Geno isn't elite. Clutch factor missing. Yeah, he's super good. O-line let Geno down. The O-line was banged up a lot last year. I understand that, but I don't know. He's all right. Would anybody call Geno Smith a top half quarterback in the NFL? No, probably not. Am I being disrespectful to say that I don't think he's really that much better than a guy like Baker Mayfield? And everybody thinks that Baker Mayfield is trash. He proved some people wrong a little bit last year. I don't see much of a difference. Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, kind of the same guy, in my opinion. But maybe I'm being disrespectful. Maybe you guys think I'm disrespectful. Am I being disrespectful? Let me know in the chat. We're up on the board here. Look, man, I'm just going to take Javonte. We're just taking shots at these ambiguous backfields. Chicago, Tennessee, Denver. We're going to take as many shots as possible, man. See what we can make happen. Tight ends, there's not a lot that we love. Probably don't need to grab one of them. But I'll go back to the draft board. We'll keep it pushing. We're going to make this team all right. For the start that we had, the crazy start we had with 6 straight wide receivers, we're going to make something happen. Aiden says, if Cooper goes to San Francisco, how are we feeling about Debo? Look, I think Debo, no matter who goes to San Francisco, Debo's value is going to go up. I think if Cooper goes there, yeah, it's probably not going to be up a lot. But I think that's going to move Cooper up quite a bit. I think Cooper in San Francisco is better than Cooper in Cleveland right now. Debo probably goes up. Cooper goes up. Ayuk comes down a tiny bit. I don't know. That's probably the way that it's going to go. Dan says Javonte season is real. Look, man, it's been a crazy offseason for Javonte, ups and downs, and it seems like there's maybe a tiny bit of light at the end of this tunnel right now. We'll see what happens. But we're going to bank on him here in this draft today. Johan says perfect comp. I'm assuming that's the Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith comp. Yeah, man, they just feel very similar. There's nothing too different about them to me. Now, what else we got? Joe Burrow's going to play in the preseason game. Interesting to see Joe play. I think they said CJ Stroud's going to play. I don't know, man. Oh, we didn't even talk about this one. Puka Nacua got hurt, and a lot of people are freaking out about it. Puka had a knee injury. He was kind of banged up. Apparently he did something to practice, tweaked his knee, did another play, tweaked it again. Basically now he's being deemed week to week. But if you guys don't follow Coach Speak Index on Twitter or X, if you don't follow them, look, man, we got to take the value that we're getting here on Brock Bowers. I don't love Brock Bowers for redraft purposes. I love him in Dynasty, but look at the ADP difference, man. 96.5 is the ADP. We're getting him at 127. That's almost 20 spots of ADP. Actually, that's 30 spots of ADP if I can do math correctly. It's a crazy amount of ADP difference. We got to take that value there for Brock Bowers. I was going to keep going running back, but come on, man. We'll take that any given day. Now, people were freaking out about Puka, but if you follow Coach Speak Index on X, they're a very, very good account. I very strongly suggest a follow to them. Not very often am I very pro. You need to go follow all of these accounts, but for the most part, this account is legit. They've basically created a scale, a grade, and each coach gets a reliability rating based on how they speak, and it's based off of historical data, like how they've spoken about players in the past and what that resulted in. Players get a grade on transactions, or coaches get a grade on transactions, injuries, all this other stuff. Sean McVay has a 90% reliability rating when it comes to injuries. If Sean McVay says you're not playing, 90% chance you're not playing. If he says you're going to be good, 90% chance you're good. Now, he says there is not going to be any effect on Puka Nacua's week 1 availability. He says it's week to week. We're going to let him rest. You obviously want to have him out there, but he's going to be good to go. Don't worry about Puka Nacua. That's what Sean McVay says. So based on his reliability rating on the Coach Speak Index, should be good to go. I'm not too worried about Puka Nacua. I'm not going to move him down my rankings. I'm not going to move him anywhere. I think everything is fine where he's at. You keep an eye on it. If he re-aggravates it, hurts it again, something like that, then we adjust. But for right now, I'm not moving anything about Puka Nacua. I'm not freaking out about the injury. We're going to be back up here. Look, dude, for a zero running back build, if you can swing Nick Chubb, again, I haven't liked drafting Nick Chubb this year, but when you can swing on a zero running back, you're looking for ceiling down the stretch. If I can get some healthy Nick Chubb games, why not? And you're getting about 10 spot ADP difference on Chubb there as well. Like I said, you guys drafted all the people drafting with us. You guys drafted all the running backs early. There was going to be value that fell to us. We were just going to grab the value. We got some value in Bowers. We got some value in Chubb. We're just going to keep working our way. Just keep building this roster because it was a very unique start. It was a very different start than we've been doing. But so far it's looking okay. We're looking all right. But let's keep going through some of these headlines. Now, somebody else who's been getting a lot of buzz has been Jackson Smith and Jigba. And you guys know I am fully in on year 2 breakout or year 2 step forward from Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's been getting a lot of praise from Ryan Grubb, from Mike McDonald. They're saying he can basically run every single route in the route tree. He's been very good. He's been playing in the slot. They're talking about wanting to pass more, and obviously we just got the news about Geno Smith. They want to build the offense about Geno or around Geno Smith and the passing that he can do. Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be a big part of that. I think he's going to be an interesting pick in drafts this year. In fact, I was just talking about the 8th round of your home league drafts. Now, this is assuming that you're playing in like your standard redraft league where you have the 2 running backs, the 2 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 2 flex, yada, yada, yada. That 8th round in a 12-man league has a whole bunch of potential breakout candidates. If you are trying to find this year's breakout, it's going to be in the 8th round. There are guys like Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Xavier Worthy, Rome Odunze, Ladd McConkey, Christian Watson. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is 1 round later. Like, there's a lot of young talent that can break out in that 8th round. I think if anybody's going to find the breakout this season, it's going to be in the 8th round. And if I have to pick anybody that I just named, it's Jackson Smith-Njigba. He is the guy that I think will break out in that 8th round. I'm likely choosing him, Addison, or Rome. Those are probably the guys, maybe even Worthy. But other than that, those are the breakouts. That's the breakout round, round 8 in your home league drafts. Now, Aiden says, Judy falling when Cooper in trade talks. Yeah, man, you love to see it. I've actually drafted quite a bit of Jerry Judy this year, and who knew? Who knew this is where we would be? Who knew? I just thought he was so late in drafts that it just made sense. Look, my guy, Jaleel McLaughlin. Actually, no, we have Javonte. I can't double up here. We'll go Jalen Wright. Try and get in on the Miami offense. But now we've kind of leveled this back out. I think we can go... we've kind of leveled this team back out. We're pretty good here now. We'll figure out what we got to do next, but I think we're pretty good. Deshaun Watson was actually who I was looking at. Johnny was thinking about potentially grabbing him, but whatever. But what was I saying? I don't know. Give me a second. Alrighty. One thing that I found interesting that I kind of want to talk about today is we talked about Stroud playing in the preseason, Burrow playing in the preseason, like all of these guys that are going to get playing time. Head coach Dave Canales of the Carolina Panthers mentioned that Bryce Young will not play in the first preseason game on Thursday against the Patriots. And this is a weird, that's just the best way for me to describe it. It's a weird decision by Dave Canales and the Panthers because, 1, new offense, probably a good idea for Bryce Young to get reps. 2, Bryce Young didn't look that good last year when he did get reps, so maybe we need to give him some more reps in some actual playing time in a game-like environment. It's weird to me that he's not going to play in the preseason. I don't like the idea of him not playing. And I know they just said week 1, but it feels very weird to me. He probably should be playing. I'll take Aaron Rodgers. Why not? I don't have a ton of Aaron Rodgers this year. But Kyler Rodgers feels fine. Now we don't need another quarterback either. But yeah, what do you guys think it's weird too that he's not going to be playing? Walker says, I'm glad he's not playing. Would be really bad if we were minus him and Andy Dalton. Yeah, I know. Andy Dalton's injured. I don't know. I was excited a little bit to see Bryce play in this new offense. Obviously, you don't want him to get hurt, but like at the same time, reps are going to be crucial for Bryce Young's development. I don't know. I wanted to see some Drake May and some Bryce Young just for a little bit. We don't got to see a lot. 1 or 2 drives. But, yeah. What else did we have? Jarrett Stidham was listed as the starter for the first game. QB2, Zach Wilson. QB3 is Bo Nix. Whatever. Sean Payton's trying to be cute with the depth chart. Not going to work. We will get some Jaden Daniels to start the preseason opener. Interested to see him. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on, but Matt Breida reunited with the 49ers. There's a lot going on, but really nothing crazy for the most part. We're kind of just waiting for preseason and to see what will happen once the preseason gets here. I'm very excited. I got my weekend, carved out around some preseason football games. Hopefully watching, a lot of these guys play, because I've been deprived of some football, and that Hall of Fame game with the weather delay did not cure my disease at all. Dr. Hawk says, I am pretty plugged in with Carolina. Injury to Dalton, plus our center is a guard at heart, and reports from training camp are saying that he's a little shaky right now for their connection. Or that it's a little shaky right now for their connection. Interesting. So logically, I would feel like it's a little shaky for their connection. You would assume that you'd kind of want to get some more game reps, no? Or am I totally out of left field by saying that? I feel like you'd want some more game reps. But I don't know, man. G Money says, Andrew, do you watch Marcus Whitman at all? I can't say that I do. Who is Marcus Whitman and what does he do? And maybe you can put me on to some good stuff. I don't know. What is that? I don't watch him. Let's go to, it's our pick right here, actually. We should probably look one. I don't mind taking a Antonio Gibson here. I'll take him. We'll grab another running back here in this backfield. Got a bunch of guys. I don't know how they're going to plug in with each other, but we got a bunch of them. We got Brock Bowers. I don't know, maybe another tight end. And then how many more rounds we got? We got 2 more rounds after that. I think we might be all right, man. We might have salvaged this team. What else do we got going on, man? Trying to think off the top of my head. I will say, I will use this little blank area while we're thinking of things to talk about, while I'm waiting for some chat. We do have a promo code here at Underdog. So if you guys do enjoy these drafts, you want to participate in these drafts, you want to prepare for your home league drafts by hitting some real life drafts here on Underdog Fantasy, I will say, make sure that you guys go sign up. Underdog Fantasy, we do have a link in the chat. It's going to be, I think it's pinned in the chat. You guys should be able to see it. It will also be pinned in the description, pinned in the comment section, anywhere you can find it. It's a sign up link. Use code League FFB, click that link, deposit $10. They will give you up to $250 in bonus cash on top of the $10 that you deposited. That way you can draft a ton of teams. I am 50 plus teams deep now. They just today launched some $3 Superflex drafts. So if you like Superflex, you want to play in some Superflex, go do that. Reason why I bring it up, it does help support the show directly. So if you want to, get something by supporting this show for yourself, and that's going to be some reps and some practice and some mock drafts, and you want to support us, it's the best way to do both of those things. You don't have to pay me for anything. You get to use the money, but I just get a kickback from Underdog Fantasy. So if you guys want to do that, I'd appreciate it. If you've never signed up and you want to try it, no risk, $10. That's all it's going to cost you. They'll give you the bonus cash. You'll be good to go. And it's a good way to really, really practice for these drafts. I've been doing a ton of them. We're going to be back up on the clock here. What do we want to do? We're pretty good for the most part. We had some tight ends come off the board, which I was looking at. I wanted Noah Fant to come back around. We didn't get him, so we'll go Cade Otton. But that's okay. I wanted Likely. I wanted Fant. We'll take Otton, then we'll finish this draft off with a running back and wide receiver again. What else? What do we have here? Oh, Dylan says, who you got week 1, your Vikings or my Giants? Come on, man. I'm not rooting for anybody that's not the Giants. Look, brother, I almost said the Giants. I'm not rooting for anybody that's not the Vikings, man. I got to root for them. That's crazy. Y'all better not clip that. I'm not rooting for anybody that's not the Vikings. The Giants are going to lose, buddy. That's all I'm saying. Dr. Hawk says, I'm with you 100%. It could be a confidence thing for Bryce, and they don't want to expose him to any scrutiny. I get it. Who knows? I just think that he probably needs some reps. Now, G Money says he's fire. He does 2-hour breakdowns of every team going into the season as well as his predictions. His YouTube is that franchise guy. I'm definitely going to have to check them out, man, because it definitely sounds interesting. We tried to do something similar on this channel. We've tried to do something over the last 2 years. It doesn't perform as well on the channel for whatever reason, but we do the divisional breakdowns where we break down each division. We've started doing those right now. So if that interests you and if that's something you like, go watch the divisional breakdowns on this channel. But like I said, they don't perform that well for us for whatever reason. Now, his breakdowns, I'm very interested. I'll go check it out. Hopefully he has a Vikings one. I'll look at his Vikings breakdown and see if I agree with what he's saying. Aiden says, clip that. You ain't clipping shit, buddy. You ain't clipping shit. Get out of here. Walker says, hearing a whole lot of neighbors buzz. A whole lot. That's even more than a whole lot. He has a whole lot of neighbors buzz. Is Marv playing similarly well? Just less surprising. I don't know, man. I think the reality, too, is you got to think about the markets. You have Arizona and you have New York. The difference in the market there is going to be pretty crazy. So a lot of the news you'll get out of New York is probably going to be a lot more than what you're getting out of Arizona. Now, whether or not that's a good thing or bad thing, I don't know. It's up to you. I think at the end of the day, the training camp, the buzz, the hype, all that stuff is fun and games. But when it comes down to putting it on the football field and playing football, that's all that matters to me. I think Neighbors is going to be good. I think Marvin Harrison's going to be good. I'm not putting too much stock into a lack of training camp hype or clips coming out on the internet about Marvin and more of them coming out about Neighbors. I'm not putting too much weight into that. All right, back here, one more pick, or I guess two more picks. We're going to need to grab one more running back. I'm going to go with Dylan Lawabe. It's been sounding like he's been getting some buzz there in Las Vegas as well. Maybe could be the third down back there in Las Vegas. So we'll take Lawabe, see what happens. And should we take a third tight end? Should we feel comfortable with Bowers and Otten? Maybe. Do we take another wide receiver just to see what happens too? I don't know. What do you guys think? Back one more wide receiver or a third tight end. You guys tell me, what would you do? I'll debate for myself, but what would you do? Let me know in the chat. Now, let's see. We have one more question. Not one more question. We have a couple more things in here. Dr. Hawk says, 10-man Superflex. Only 2 quarterbacks are Lamar and Watson. I inherited the team and have the 101 Dynasty. Wide receiver core is Higgins, Smith, London. You taking Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb? Well, 10-man Superflex with Lamar and Watson. Higgins, Smith, London. I'm taking Caleb, man. He was my 101 in Superflex no matter what. I don't love Watson as your QB2. It can be better, but it's easier to find the wide receiver down the road than it is to find the quarterback. I think Caleb Williams is going to be great, man. He'd be my pick at the 101. G Money says, don't worry, Andrew. I watch everything you pump out. Appreciate it, man. That means a lot. Really, you guys don't even know. You know, the more that you guys watch, it means a ton to me. So I appreciate you guys that do. I see a lot of the regulars around here on the streams, in the comment section. You guys are literally the lifeblood of the channel, so I appreciate you guys being here. Now, Walker says, I'm a training camp enjoyer. Worked for me for all my Puka shares, but usually a waste of time. Yeah, I do too, man. I'm just a football enjoyer, so I love it. Dan says, let's say D-Hop misses time. Would you favor Boyd or Burks more? I like Boyd more, especially because Brian Callahan brought him over himself from Cincinnati. So I think that similarity or the familiarity with the offense makes a lot of sense for me. I would just rather go with Boyd. So let's see. We got one more pick here. We'll see what happens. I think we'll probably go. Nobody told me what they would rather do. I think we'll go with the. I don't like the tight ends here. We'll just take one more wide receiver. See what we can get out of here. We got a. Let me peek one more time. We don't have anything. Nah, nothing I like. At the wide receiver position, I'll take a shot. We were talking about the Giants, right? Scroll down just a tiny bit just to make sure I'm not missing nobody. And I'm not. We were talking about the Giants, though. Take a shot on Jalen Hyatt. Year 2, see what happens. G Money says Burke's about to be the special teams GOAT, I guess. Probably about to be the waiver wire GOAT in a minute once they cut him. That's probably going to happen. Johnny says go get kicker. Ridiculous. Let's see, man. A couple more picks here, and then we'll get to the team reviews. I think I got like 7 teams in here favorited to go over. So we got lots of teams to talk about, which is good. But let's see, man. We just got to get through these last couple picks. Well, look at my team. Very, very unique build. I ain't going to lie to you. It's a very unique build. We'll see. It's a 0 running back for sure. But yeah, let's get to... Also, side note, I was talking about that video that I was working on right before the stream. I actually was editing it. My edit crashed at the very end. I had to restart the edit. Crazy. Absolutely ruined my evening. I was so pissed. But that's my problem. That's not your problem. Let's look at this roster, though. We got a 2-7-7-2 type of build. Quarterback position, Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers. At the running back position for a 0 running back roster, we have DeAndre Swift, Tajay Spears, Javonte Williams, Nick Chubb, Jalen Wright, Antonio Gibson, and Dylan Lawabe. Lots of guys, ambiguous situations. Hopefully we can get some production out of them going into this year. Like I said, not a great situation when you start off 6 wide receivers in a row, but I think it's all right. I think there's enough people in here that we can get production out of on a week-to-week basis that you can find your running back 1 and 2 every week. It may not be the same guys every week, but who knows? Now, the strong point of the roster obviously is going to be the wide receivers. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Jalen Hyatt. Love the wide receivers. And then you got Brock Bowers at a major ADP value and K. Dotton to finish this off at a 10-spot ADP value as well. Roster feels very 7 out of 10-ish. But it may be sneaky. Maybe a sneaky 0 running back type of build. Now let's look at your guys' rosters, see if anybody in here is going to beat me because we are playing against each other. I'm trying to get that cash. First person in here that we got is G Money. So let's go look at G Money's roster. And he has a 3-5-7-3 type of build. Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones as the quarterbacks. Not bad. Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Elijah Mitchell. That's that OG running back room with the Aaron Jones, the Austin Ecklers. But there's upside in there. Drake London, Amari Cooper, who maybe or maybe not will be a Cleveland Brown. Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams, Roman Wilson. The wide receiver room, I like the top with London, Cooper, Diggs. The bottom half, I'm not a big fan of. There's quite a bit of injury in that bottom half. Roman Wilson injured. Mike Williams injured. DeAndre Hopkins injured. It feels a little scary. The tight ends, Kittle, Kmet, Okonkwo. I like it. Don't even feel like you needed Okonkwo. I almost would have rather you grabbed another wide receiver than have Okonkwo. But overall, solid lineup. Let's see what else we got in here. G Money said DeAndre Swift RB1 when he isn't the RB1 on his team. That's crazy. That's actually crazy, to be honest. Dr. Hawk says, I'd like a review at the end. What do we got from Dr. Hawk? Dr. Hawk has a team. He was the first one. I don't know why I had to scroll down. We got a team of CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, young guys. This is a dynasty roster? Christian McCaffrey, never mind, not a dynasty roster. Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, Tyler Algier, Tyrone Tracy. That's shallow room, and you got some injury risk in that room as well. Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen, Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, Ricky Pearsall, Quentin Johnston, Demarcus Robinson. And then we got Trey McBride and Jonnu Smith, Jatavian Sanders. Interesting team. I don't love the JT Sanders. I don't know how beneficial he's going to be this year. The wide receivers are young. The quarterbacks are young. There's a lot of upside on a team like this, but there's a lot of risk on a team like this as well. So this is an interesting build. But the projected points look good, partially probably because you have 3 quarterbacks. Let's see what Nick AV says. Nick AV's roster is... What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do too much over here, man. I'm losing my mind. Did I just pass it again? God damn, guys. Nick AV has a team that is 2-7-7-2. We got Anthony Richardson, Justin Herbert. Love that. Brees Hall, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson. Jesus. Bucky Irving, Kamani Vidal, Deneric Prince, Tank Bigsby. Interesting. It's definitely hero running back, and I don't mind the approach there. Jalen Waddle, Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, Jacoby Myers, Adonai Mitchell, Demario Douglas, then Evan Engram, and Jelani Woods. So overall, this is a pretty solid roster as well. I like, punting that tight end too, because you went and got a guy like Engram, the hero running back. Don't mind it. Taking some upsides on Kamani Vidal's, Bucky Irving's. I like it. Overall, it's a pretty solid roster. Really no real gripes with it. I'm not a big guy on Zay this year, but we'll see. Solid roster overall, though, Nick. Let's see who's next. Dr. Hawk said, thanks. Hope everyone's ankles hold up. Yeah, we'll see, man. Bloody Damn Reaper. Bloody Damn Reaper is going to get his reviewed. We will have a team here that consists of 2 quarterbacks, 8 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. So just off the roster construction, I'm assuming you have some really good wide receivers. Hurts, Lawrence, Gibbs, Mixon, Brown, Edwards, Charbonnet, Jaleel, Audric, Jordan Mason. The running back room is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love the running back room. It's deep, and there's a lot of upside there. Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Hollywood Brown, JSN, Michael Wilson. Now, that's not the wide receiver room I thought you were going to have, but it's not bad. And then you have Jake Ferguson, Noah Fant, Juwan Johnson. This is an interesting team with a lot of running backs. I don't mind it. It's very interesting. We'll see how it performs, but it's very unique. I don't know if I've seen many builds like this. Our next guy is going to be Harvey 17-14. We'll see what he did with his roster. Where are we at? Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Travis Etienne, Zamir White, Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Braylon Allen, Puka, Marvin Harrison, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Ladd McConkey. This is an interesting roster. It's balanced. It's balanced all around. Probably need a little bit more running back depth, but you did secure that running back room in Dallas. It's an interesting build. I probably don't need the Derek Carr. I'd like to see the Derek Carr pick be another running back, but other than that, no real gripes with the roster. We have Shaden in here. He is going to have a roster of 3-5-8-2, another 3-5-8-2. Mahomes, Fields, Wilson. Interesting. I love that, though. I actually really do like that because you lock that up. Then Saquon, Pollard, Ford, Davis, Roschon. Solid. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Worthy, Rome, Josh Downs, Judy, Mooney, DJ Shark, Kincaid, and Joku. This is a really good roster. I like this roster. It's unique. There's a lot of upside in it. Very solid. Very solid roster. One of my, I'd say towards the top of the rosters that we've reviewed so far up to this point. I like that roster for you, Aiden. Sorry, that's not the next name. Walker is the next name. What do we got? This is the one time when having 2 screens is not beneficial. We got Jordan Love, Jared Goff, very solid. Henry, Jacobs, Kamara, Connor, very solid as well. Lamb, Adams, Addison, Dobbs, Dotson, Robinson, Tolbert, Dortch, Baker, Anjuan Jennings. A ton of wide receivers. What is that, 10? My gosh, that's solid. Laporta and Schultz. Good job, Walker. I'm not actually even being, I guess, facetious there. I'm actually, this is a great roster. I like the roster. If I have to give you one thing that I would do different, one less of the wide receivers. 10 of them is a little OD. One less, throw another running back on the squad. You get 5 of them, especially because those guys are a little bit older and have maybe had a little bit of regression or sign of regression. One more running back. Love it. Love the roster, though. Round of applause for me. It's actually a really good team. Great job. Andrew Rikus. We got think this is the last person that we're going to be reviewing. I don't think we have any more in here. Yeah, I don't think we have any more in here to review. We do have 3-5-8-2. That's a very popular build today. I'm seeing 3-5-8-2s. You guys are doing a lot of that. Lamar, Tua, Bryce, Kyron, Najee, Blake Corum, Chuba Hubbard, Kendre Miller. I like it. Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Brian Thomas, Josh Palmer, Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Legette, Marvin Mims, Andre Yoshavash. I like that too. Mark Andrews and Tyler Conklin. Very solid roster as well. Very solid roster. Probably don't even need Bryce Young. Probably wasn't a need for that. I'm just very much not a guy that likes to draft 3 QBs, especially when you have guys like Lamar and Tua, where I know that they're going to give me production. Throw one of those quarterbacks on the running back room. Great roster. I actually really like it. You and Walker. I think Walker's the last one we saw. You guys probably had some of the best rosters we looked at today. Johnny Detroit says I'm here. We'll look at a Detroit roster real quick. How many Lions are on here, Johnny? Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, David Montgomery. There's one Lion. Khalil Herbert, Damian Pierce, Keaton Mitchell, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Jamison Williams, 2 Lions. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, Khalil Shakir, Jalen McMillan, Dallas Goedert, T.J. Hawkinson, Dawson Knox. Hey, I might have spoke too soon. This might be the third of the top 3 rosters that we looked at today. We'll take mine out of the mix. Very interesting. I do like the roster. Crimson Mask, War in here. If you guys know War, Andrew, your son Kyler will have a great year. Well, he better have a great year, and especially because final little piece here, looking at this roster before we get on out of here. We'll recap mine one more time. Very fast. 0 running back. We start off with 6 wide receivers in a row. Wide receiver, all the way through. Kyler, Rogers, Swift, Spears, Javonte, Chubb, Jalen Wright, Antonio Gibson, Dylan Luwabe, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Jalen Hyatt, Brock Bowers, K. Dotton. That is the roster. And I really just did that for you, War. I just wanted to show you the roster. Now, for you folks that are still in here, still hanging out with me, we're getting to our hour mark. Our draft is coming to an end. Our stream is coming to an end. But never fear. More content coming soon. There always is going to be more content. As long as you guys keep watching, I will keep creating. To be honest, even if you stopped watching, I'll probably keep creating. It's just what I like to do. It's about maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, more content coming. Tomorrow, NFC North Dynasty breakdown for Dynasty teams in the NFC North. Day after that, mid-round picks, another underdog stream on Saturday. If you're not a member of the Discord, go join the Discord, free to join. You can go in there, get the link for Saturday's draft. That way you can participate with us. See, Aiden said he had a lot of fun today. You can have some fun too. You just join the Discord. That's all you got to do. Also, do me the favor, hit the like button. I see we're at 18 likes right now. Let's run that thing up to like 20, 25 before we get on out of here. So if you haven't liked it, if you check the like button and it's not fully... if it's not filled in, hit the like button. Let's run that thing up to 20. Hit the subscribe button. We got a goal for 3,000 subscribers by week 1, Thursday night football. We got to make this happen. We can only make it happen by sharing the content, liking the content, subscribing to the content, watching the content, commenting on the content, doing all the good stuff. Just support the channel. You guys support me. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative of it. And we'll see what happens, man. Other than that, I'm going to get my way out of here. I got to wake up, go to New York City tomorrow to record some content with the bdge boys. But I have nothing else for you today. So I will see you guys on the next video. Until then, peace out, guys.